Jack Harlow, a.k.a. Lint Condition, has been in the news, man, for a certain comment, man, coming off his 4th album. So Jack's transition from the charismatic first-class rapper to a full-blown R&B crooner has definitely sparked a massive debate across our timelines. Now, his latest creative pivot shows an artist willing to take massive risks. It also highlights the delicate line between appreciation and appropriation. So let's watch this video from the homie Read My Soul, and then we will discuss.
I'm saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
black music.
We're not going to talk about the I got blacker thing because I get what he was trying to say. He should have said I went into more black roots, right? Like he shouldn't have said I got blacker, right? I don't know if this is a popular move, but it just doesn't feel like a genuine like, ooh, I like this, right? It just all felt wrong. The rollout, even the joking of like, I like black girls or like I couldn't see you without a black woman. Like the whole everything to this was very just like, I'm not feeling it. But yeah, this is about everything I expected from the kid.
So I think early in my career, I was split between, do I want to be an entertainer or an artist? Do I want to be a celebrity or an artist? I have now chosen artist.
His first thing was like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It is no secret down here that blacks and chickens are quite fond of one another.
It was just everything about what he is going to be within our culture just didn't make sense. So we're just waiting for the switch.
So, Lone, when we came in, I know you wanted to...
Were those real pictures of him?
With the chicken?
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess.
I mean, it makes sense because
I wouldn't doubt that he would be popular enough to get them looks. So
Louisville Young Brands.
Yeah, I can see it. He's from Kentucky.
Yeah, he's from Kentucky, yeah. But Lone, you had mentioned, I had a couple questions, but I kind of like your breakdown in terms of how you wanted to discuss this. Can you kind of go into detail about that and we can go from there?
So essentially there's 3 things that I've seen from around this project dropping. Number one, obviously the music. We can talk about the music. Then the antics leading up, or if you want to call it the promo
rollout or whatever,
this video, this interview that we see. And then I would also say the response to the antics. I think those are 3 different things that are all worth talking about. So
okay. Let's start with let's go the music route, just as it relates to the actual music and what you guys pulled from it, from what you heard. Let's start there. There are any initial thoughts? Jay, I'll come to you first. What did you think initially?
I mean, other than the very last song, I have no use for any of this.
Well,
I mean, I think that it's, I literally think that it would be better as an instrumental project. His singing on it, or whatever you want to call this, vocalizing is just not good. It's not good. I don't know who he would consider his inspirations on this particular project, but he's not doing them proud. I wanted to actually, I'm going to go in and just listen to this, and maybe it would make other things make sense, but it doesn't. This is something like I'm never going to listen to again, unless they tell me they put out an instrumental. Then maybe I could do something with it. I could set it as a vibe, but every time his voice comes on, it basically ruins the experience. And I know that's super harsh, but it's just how I felt on this particular record. And the thing is, I've liked Jack Harlow's music. He's got some things that, even the things that weren't super popular, those were the things I wound up kind of liking. But this is just so unpleasant to listen to once his vocals hit the tracks that I was like, I mean, it was basically just a 9-pack of ass. And I did not,
Damn.
I'm never going back to this.
A 9-pack of ass is crazy.
And it's not a long listen. So it's not like I might have got lost somewhere in the mix of what he was trying to do. Like I said, there's only 9 songs on the album, and none of them are particularly long. Yeah. But yeah, this is for someone who has enjoyed his music previously. I mean, but I'm not a huge fan. I'm not like, oh yeah, but like this is disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, it like even, and there have been albums that kind of tried to move into the same thing that I may not have been a huge fan of, but I was like, okay, I can see where the structure, like I think what was Mac Miller's Divine Feminine.
And Divine Feminine was, I think, the one. that was the one, right?
Yeah.
That he kind of first made that push, but then obviously
Larry Fisherman.
Yeah, well, from Larry Fisherman, really. I mean, that was his producer moniker, but that Circles and there was the other. Was it called Circles?
Yeah.
The project, yeah.
And then there was another one too within there, but Swimming, yeah.
Which were both executed very well.
You know, and so like I can think about like those records where someone who I know as a rapper tries to do something a little bit more experimental, vocally and stylistically, but I just couldn't get into this. Like, and it's not one of those situations like, oh, you got to listen to it again. No, like I said, it's not a long project. I got through it, listened to the whole thing, and I had those moments where I was like, really? Is this what we're doing? Like, and so that's why I'm disappointed in the quality of the project. Other than I can't say it's a 9-pack of ass because I kind of like song 9, but I had to listen to this whole.
That's my favorite record.
I had to get through the whole project.
Yeah,
sitting there, just on my computer, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I think it had.
I think that's one of the 2 records that Robert Glasper was on too.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. But I think it had. I'm gonna give it more moments than that. I don't think it's
vocally.
No, not vocally.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give it more. This is where we always have the conversation about. We talk about the era that we're in, and what do we always say? It's a vibe. People, we've had that conversation before when people say it's a vibe. It's a vibe. I'm gonna categorize this as a vibe that had some moments. I'm not looking at this to be an elite R&B project because I'm not looking for. I wasn't even looking for that. I didn't even think that before I hit play. Right.
This ain't gonna be Masego.
This is not about to be that. So I already knew that. So I had to lower my expectations first and foremost. But I think it has some. I think there were moments. Do I think this is an elite project? Do I think it's groundbreaking? The only thing groundbreaking about this is his comments. If we just keeping it a buck, to me. Now I could be wrong. It could grow on me later, but I just don't. I don't see it. It had moments for me, but I ain't gonna do 9-pack ass.
I agree with you. I feel the same way. It didn't sound bad to me,
right?
But I've heard this same thing and I've heard it done better.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was the only thing that's my only takeaway from it. Is there a couple songs that I might play from time to time when I got something soft laying next to me?
There you go.
Yeah, but besides that, probably not.
Yeah,
right.
What you think, Long?
Jay took the words out of my mouth when he said it could have been an instrumental. I threaded that, whatever you call that, earlier today. I was like, the instrumentation. I feel
the musicality is not bad.
Strictly production, right?
I feel very similar about this project in Jack Harlow as I did with J. Cole's last album, and my sentiments are very similar. I feel like Jack Harlow is technically doing things within his wheelhouse. He's not going outside of his range as a vocalist. He's staying within that. The songs, if you listen to them, he's doing this and then he's doing this and he's doing this. But to me, from a vocal from the vocal performance perspective, I don't need any of it, and it just wasn't very impressive. But I can see it being decent background music, and so from a music standpoint, it was straight. But I'm not going to go back and listen to any of this again. Say Hello, the last record, was probably my favorite. There's a couple other ones that I don't hate, but it also sounds very similar. Like it doesn't, there's not a lot that's varying from this vibe. And maybe that was the intent. Maybe it was very much intentional to stay right within this same space this entire time throughout it.
Because I was going to say, like, is that more of it's a cohesive thing? I want to keep it cohesive, which can work sometimes, but sometimes it can't, obviously.
All the subject matter from my first skim and then me listening a little bit more the second time, it sounds like the same song over and over again, just like very subtle. Like there's no depth there. There's no depth. At least it didn't feel like any depth to the writing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of things happening with the vocals. There's like there is one song, and I forget which one it was, where he did something that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but he never did it again. And, and to Jay's point, and I really hate to make the comparison between the 2 white rappers that are doing this, because there's more than just white rappers that do this. But when you listen to Mac's stuff when he was doing it, it was just raw. There was soul in it. It felt like him. And when I listen to this, it just sounds very produced. It sounds very much just like mass produced. It almost sounds, honestly, it kind of sounds like a bunch of AI music. And you know, when I listen to, but when you do the comparison, even to like Mac Miller stuff, like you could feel Mac on it,
Right.
Even if those weren't some of my favorite. Like I appreciated Mac's pivot, even though I liked his earlier rap stuff a little bit more.
But the pivot was authentic though.
Yeah, it was.
It was authentic.
But straight musically is what I'm talking about. Like I like Mac when he raps.
Yeah.
But I could appreciate when he did the other stuff too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he did it so tastefully. This, you know, yeah, I don't know. It comes down to it. It's just, you know, good for him if he continues down this path and maybe he gets
Better.
No, seriously. Maybe he's taking singing lessons, you know, vocal lessons. Maybe he's going to get better as this grows. This isn't, all things considered, this is not absolutely horrible.
I agree.
It's just, especially from a music standpoint, I think the music is great. I think he's doing what he needs to do. He's like Trent Dilfer on the Baltimore Ravens right there.
Yeah.
He's
I
making
like
those
that.
short passes and he's doing just enough to get to the finish line. And
The defense, which will be the music, is carrying it.
everything else is carrying.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so
well, let me ask you this, you know, because this may or may not be authentic to him, but the issue is we don't know because we don't know who this man is for real.
That's
You know what I
fair.
mean?
That's fair.
Like we knew who Mac was somewhat because he put it in his music for the most part, and I don't know if that's really a thing from Jack. Like I get a lot of party and bullshit records from him. There's not
Exactly.
really anything in depth where he's told me who he actually is.
Yeah,
in
being an
his
artist,
records.
per se. Yeah.
I
Which he
mean,
talked about.
what
in
he
the
said.
clip.
What he said. He's like, I didn't know if I wanted to be an entertainer or an artist, and well, I'm choosing this. So maybe this is still in his future, and I'll give him that benefit. Like from a music standpoint, this isn't the worst thing I've ever heard. This isn't the worst try. You know what I mean? And people are allowed to try, and I'm allowed to not like it, and you know it's cool. I'll be curious to see where he's going to. He did good enough on this to where like if he drops something again, I will at least listen to it to see if there's some progression there.
That's
You
fair.
know,
That's fair.
because I think from a music standpoint, he kind of did it tastefully from the music standpoint as well. Like he stayed true to the aesthetic musically. We're not talking about the other stuff. Like, you know, like I think he's following the dots very well.
Yeah,
But I'm very curious if he's going to venture away from those dots and create something that's actually his, even to the point to where like he's always felt like a Drake-esque type of artist to me. This feels like what Drake was very good at, which is copy and paste. So
there was a comparison. You started off said this sounded like equivalent to what you thought about J. Cole's project.
yeah.
Is there anything that you hear on this album that is better than the Let Out?
No.
Yeah.
If you take Jack Harlow off of it, which is kind of I don't know what his role in the executive production of this project was, you know, but if you take his voice off of it, musically, I do like, there are moments of this that I actually really do like. I also really like some moments on J. Cole's album to some degree.
This to me was like he pinched off of Folding Clothes and just built upon that. You know what I mean? So this is like just more of Folding Clothes, which is one of the best, it's probably the best song on that project. Outside of Neighbors.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
But to your point, like, I think that's a very good point. We don't know who Jack Harlow is.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I still don't know who he is. You know, like, this just sounds like a whole bunch of, like, it sounds like he's kind of like cosplaying as like a love artist, you know, and just to talk about, like, but I don't know if any of these emotions real? Is any of this real? Or is
It didn't bring me, I didn't find anything new about him at all.
I didn't feel anything from it.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
like I can tell when people are like going through something and they're sharing part of their life. This didn't feel like that to me
At all.
You know, so to me, it's just that's the piece that's missing. It's the soul element. It's the soul and the neo soul, if you will. It's like, you know, so I think the criticisms are you know valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
From my musical expertise take.
Let's go ahead and let's pivot to the antics.
Do you have a name of a list of the names?
I do. I'm gonna pull that up. I appreciate you reminding me, brother, because now we need to talk about his comment that we saw in the opening clip where he said, and the guy set him up perfect too. So you're getting closer to black culture and all. He's like, yeah, I got blacker.
Well, the thing is, and I'll say really quick.
Yeah, come on.
That was that they set him up.
Yeah, it was a setup, like in a bad way.
He was doing everything he could to not say that.
Facts.
To lead Jack to say it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, like
it was definitely a setup.
Anyways,
I think he was just trying to be funny.
I think it was a jest.
Yeah,
I'm with Lone on that. I'm with
he was
Lone
just
on
joking.
Mm-hmm.
When I watched it, I was like, all right. Sometimes it's interesting to see what will cause outrage on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, this is it. I don't know.
But is there a level of here's what I'm asking, and then we'll get to this list before we get deeper. I guess my thing is, matter of fact, let me read this. I'm gonna read this list first,
do the list.
then we'll do that. So some of these names are hilarious, man, that popped up on the internet. So it says, let's see, Jew Hill is one of them. IRS 1, LL Cool Whip, America Badu, Lint Condition is what I put in the topic. Musiq Snowchild, Luca Vandross, that's brilliant. Neo Colonial Soul, Ninth Wonder Bread.
Oh, this the one.
Oh, this is crazy. 3 different ways. Yeah.
Say it.
Honky, honky, honky. You know what that's a play on?
No, I don't. What's
Tony.
Okay.
Got it? Get it?
I mean, I would have to see it. Is it?
Spelled in 3 different
okay,
ways.
okay.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Got you.
White Thought. And then there was some that had there's a Milk the Shocker cover.
I saw Uncommon.
Yeah.
Uncommon with the B cover, and then Lazy, the Jew print. That's crazy.
That's like anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
A
That's
couple
crazy.
of them are
Yeah.
in that lane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the interneting. But let's get back to the I got blacker comment. What I was going to ask you, Lone, is there a level of in the moment self-awareness where you have to be like, I don't think this is a good thing in my mind to say, or do we just get caught up in the moment and I feel like he just set it off GP and didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but I don't know, man. Like that really didn't land well, bro. That didn't land well.
It didn't land well. It didn't land well because it was clipped.
Because it was clipped. Okay.
That's
All
why.
context was lost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we said this on the call last night. I don't feel like, I think depending on how it's presented, I don't feel like this is a big deal to most people. I think the fact that it went viral, the fact that what came out was also like how he was dressing. Also, the clip came out, about the black girlfriends thing came out, and then the music came out. I feel like it's a combination of all these things at the same time. I'm a white person, right? So I'm saying this, but like
What?
But from
You don't say.
But from the perspective of somebody asking you, you are not leaning into your white contemporary space to go or to revert back to as what would be what we have seen from people like Post Malone, Miley Cyrus,
Yep.
Things of that nature. He's like, you're kind of going the other way, and so the dumb response is just, I'm not going whiter, I'm going blacker. That's all it is. And so, like, even to this day, like, if people want to be upset at that, that is perfectly fine. If black people want to be upset at that, that's fine. Me as a white person, I could have said that. I could have said that around you and not thought a damn thing about it.
Well, I mean,
because I know the intent and I know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
I guess I think with me and you, or us, I should say though.
it's also a jest.
But
It's
I
also
know
a
you.
jest.
But I know you though. So if you said that to me, I'd laugh and then we'd keep it moving.
Yeah, because I'm joking.
Right. But I know that though.
Like,
I know you.
I'm getting blacker. Well, obviously, I can't get blacker.
But stylistically, perhaps.
But maybe
this
that.
is-
But maybe that goes to Byron's point too, is that we don't really know who this guy is.
Yeah. Jump in, B. What you think about the black address the blacker comment first, and then go from there.
I think he just had a few strikes up against him, man. You know what I mean? Like the comment about him with black women. You know what I mean? The shit with the song "Whips and Chains" that got it was a cool song for a minute.
That song went when we was in the club.
Yeah,
True.
it went for a minute, and then somebody had some fake outrage about him. You know what I mean? And the song killed that song. So he had just a few strikes, and then you come out and say something like this, and your project is it comes far left from what people are used to hearing from you. So it just sounds like more appropriation. You know what I mean? So
you got a Donnell Jones hat on.
Yeah, it gives him more of a strike, man.
Yeah, I think it kind of snowballed on
zip up with the zip on the side.
All that, and then the snowballing with the girlfriend and stuff that you mentioned, and the attempt for the rollout. I think it just kind of snowballed on top of, like, the blacker didn't help. That didn't help all the other stuff that had already started.
The blackening.
I
don't know. I've seen a lot of commentary around, like, man, how, like, this is white colonialism, and like I'm talking like taking it to the extreme, and I'm like, bro,
what is that deep of a dive?
I mean,
no,
like,
it's not.
I mean, if you want to take it there, like, you can take. I can always find a way to get
100%.
to get racism to get there.
100%.
Like, I understand the path to it, but like, I've seen some pretty crazy, like, wild takes that I'm just like, it just feels like
rage bait.
It feels like rage bait. It feels like for clicks. It feels like, also I see white people doing it, and I feel like they're trying to posit themselves.
How can I be down?
How can I be cool within this moment with black people?
Trying to
get
get a pass to the barbecue, huh?
I just, I don't have to go to the barbecue. It's cool.
We'd invite you though.
Yeah.
All right, but
come
like,
get a plate.
Yeah, you can get a plate. Sir Duncan, y'all can get a plate.
I'll go to the house in the back. Yeah.
What you think, Jay? First address getting blacker, and then you can go from there.
Well, the thing is, I think that is being lost, because even in that clip, there's like a whole nother thing that he said after. He said, I got blacker, where he talks about the political space that we're in right now. And, he kind of addresses, without saying names, the other contemporaries, other white people who are in quote unquote black spaces, and how they have, shifted away from, the sound that initially made them famous. So I think that's part of where I think some people's argument is disingenuous, is because, like, when you hear what he said in a whole, not only was I not upset, I agreed with him. And I think that's where
you agree with him on
when he said, yeah, I got blacker stylistically. Yes, I completely understood what he said, even though I don't like the record.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, Neo Soul there's nothing white about Neo Soul
at all.
Neo Soul, quote unquote.
Yeah, shout out to Raphael Sadiq.
I mean,
who?
Remy Sean. I mean,
you brought up the one dude.
Take a message.
Don't get me wrong.
Take a message from my love.
Yeah, I love that record.
But good song.
But I'm just saying that, like, it's so easy for people to have a take based on something that they hear and they initially don't like, and then there's like 3 or 4 sentences that actually put it into some sort of context.
That's fair.
And I think that's where I'm like, hey, everybody, like, calm the down. Like, and I'm not really here to give any white person passes, especially in this space culturally.
Yeah.
Or, to just say, oh, no, he didn't mean it like that. I'm not trying to make any excuses for anybody. But when I hear the totality of what he said, not like I said, I wasn't mad. Not like I said, I agreed with him, because, like, we've seen this before. We've talked about it on this show, how so many people, they enter the public consciousness by doing, like, White Iverson, and then all of a sudden he's Buddy's a country artist, and then he feels like the need, he can reach back and say what hip hop is and what it isn't. And it was like, you haven't done enough work in any part of this culture for us to care anything about what you have to say about hip hop.
Facts.
And then there was, because and same thing with Miley Cyrus. I was talking about Post Malone. I'm not leaving people's names out.
Talk about all of them.
Put the name on that bullet.
Put a name on it.
And then Miley Cyrus talking about, after she was doing songs about Jordans and trying to twerk with no ass.
Thank you.
And then all of a sudden she has this about what hip hop is missing and the things. No, you be quiet.
Go sit down.
You've already taken from the culture, if you will, when you were trying to grow up and be edgy, and so you got those Mike Will Made It songs.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, she's got some stuff that once you settle back into being white, that's your lane. Buying flowers, and even the song you got with Beyonce on the Cowboy Carter album I think is a great song.
But let's also not forget that she went back to hip hop after she made those comments.
There it is.
So I mean, I think and so this is where I think, because people just
When
say,
she was falling off,
yeah,
sorry.
exactly. Before she had the flowers,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
before she
pointing at.
had the record with Beyonce, she's like, all right, let me dip my toe back over there so I can get some relevance and stay in the game. And so,
Facts.
like, when I see what Jack Harlow said, when I see the entire statement, I can tell you that I don't like his record, other than it being, hopefully they put out an instrumental version. But when he said stylistically, yes, because the guys who were interviewing him tried to dance around it.
They did.
They were like, well, most of your contemporaries go whiter, and and then
Went blacker.
and then he just said he in a way he took them off the hook.
No, he did.
What about
we all know that.
Justin, though?
What about who? Justin?
Mr. Timberlake.
Well,
What about
I've said unkind things about that Man in the Woods album.
Okay, yeah.
Like when he, the Getting Back to Whiteness record that he put out right after he did his Super Bowl. But I love Future Sex love songs, and that's part of the reason I was so disappointed. I was like, and after that, you're going to do this? Yeah. So it is what it is.
I don't know. I mean, also to this too, like as a white person within this space, you have to understand few things. To Mike's point, you kind of have to understand. Like, I feel like there's multiple problems with this. Number one, this conversation happened with two white dudes interviewing another white dude about, a genre switch that is happening. Doesn't it make more sense to have this conversation with somebody that might be a little bit more adept to have this conversation with to start from? And I understand this is just optics, and I'm not somebody who is 100% like, optics are so important.
Yeah.
Like I'm that's not me. But at the same time, like I understand like the spiral of everything that concatenated on top of everything to turn this into what it was. Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, the focus was on the music. You know what I mean? It was
That
just,
wasn't.
That
Conversation wasn't.
Why wasn't it?
That's when we're talking about stylistically.
Yeah, it's still the music. You still talking about the music.
Yeah, but as white dudes sitting around a table talking about a black
That's
genre,
the part. Yeah, that's the part.
you cannot ignore the historical nature of where the music came from, and that and all the things that are like intertwined with it that are automatically going to be applied to it because you are white talking about that.
And based off what he's talking about,
I feel
in terms
okay
of-
having these conversations at this table with three black gentlemen because you guys will call me on anything that I say in this particular moment if I'm sidestepping. But if I'm sitting with three other white dudes, there's not that check and balance that happens in that moment because there's a comfortability that sometimes happens when you're just around your own people that you can't really get away from sometimes.
But
So it's
only
like, how dare you say in a room full of white people say something is stylistically blacker?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Because that's the first thing that's going to come
Who
to.
are they to criticize?
Yeah, and who are they
There
to
it
say
is. There it
that
is.
your music is now blacker compared to Post Malone
And
or whatever?
I understand that outrage. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that.
But B's talking about them discuss. It's still based around the discussion
discussion.
of music.
Yeah.
Sure. But what I'm
Sure.
saying is that's not the first thing that's going to be taken from that comment.
Just because
the music is
the
going to be
picture.
later.
Yeah, just because of the picture of it.
Exactly. It's to what he's talking about. The setup and the dynamics is why that was the focal point. It's because of how it was set up, the stage, the interviewing. That's why that was. That's why I agree with him. It's like the music was second or third.
Yeah.
It was about the dynamics and what he said.
Which is why when you had this topic in there, I wanted to make sure that we at least talked about the music to some degree.
No, for sure. For
you
sure.
know, to
Yeah.
at least do that. Mike, when we had our meeting yesterday, you seemed to be very staunchly on the other side of that.
And you know what I've done since then?
What's
I
that?
went back, I listened to the project, and I watched everything that he talked about. Because all I saw was the chop up.
The clip.
So I said, let me go back and watch the video because initially I'm like, this is the corniest comment ever. And I still think from a self-awareness standpoint, you have to be smarter than that. That's just my personal opinion. I still don't think it landed well. I think it was stupid to say. But after I went back and watched it, I said, I could see how this was chopped up a little bit. And I can see why everybody's just looking at how it was chopped up and just going right for the throat. I saw that, but I had to go back and watch it because I was like everybody else. How dare you say that? It's the first thing I thought about. So I had to go back and watch and actually watch the whole thing. I said, I'm gonna do my due diligence on this. So I want to make sure I'm correct. I still think it's a stupid comment though at the end of the day, but I got more context. I ain't gonna lie, because yesterday, to your point, I was like, nah, this is stupid, 100%. So speaking, like I think we've already kind of talked about, I guess the response somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else that you guys think that would be left as it relates to the response?
Nah, it's
that we left
kind of OD.
Yeah, man.
And I get it. You know what I mean? We got to defend our culture.
We have to.
You know what I mean? Because if we don't, you know, nobody will. But, you know, some of y'all can be overboard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this was I think this was done to in somewhat to honor the music that he likes.
That's what it seems like.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just, you know,
just wasn't executed.
You're not Bobby
well.
Caldwell, bro. That's it.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah. That's all it is, man. They're like the music. You gave it a shot, and you went and got my guy Robert Glasper.
True.
You know what I mean? You went and talked to the right people. It just
didn't come off.
It didn't connect right.
And he might have to circle the block on this style, and I don't know, get
If he's
better
really
to Lowe's
passionate
point. If
about
he's
it.
passionate about being an artist,
So let me.
maybe there's another attempt at this down the road. I don't know. Maybe.
So let me. Okay.
Oh man.
Deep dive question.
Mhm.
This might be very ignorant. Okay.
Might be.
So he wanted to really be Drake, like he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Drake just took that ass whooping,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And he was like, well, let me go get with who beat Drake when he pivoted
Right.
on the Pimp a Butterfly
Sure.
Mm.
and see if I could create something similar to
Mhm.
that. It still kind of be myself.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Jack Harlow is some of this does feel performative. So I also, even though some of the range of like criticism that he is getting, I don't necessarily think is directly justified. I feel like the people that are very critical of him are looking at him with a side eye, like what Reed kind of said, like, I've seen this song and dance before. Who are you? You know what I mean? And in more times than not, most white artists do tend to just be not about shit, especially when they're in the public eye. So to your point, I feel like it's very feasible that it possibly could be something like that. Do we also think that he named his album 100% because he thinks the name Monica is cool? Just like he thinks the name Adrian is cool?
Hey,
man.
I think that's a little conspiracy theorist, but I don't know. Like, it goes into like the Drakeism of like, why would you call an album Monica if there's nothing deeper behind it? Who is Monica?
Maybe he was inspired by some great Lewinsky and he decided to name his album Monica.
Then tell me that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Just say that if that's
You
what
know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Yeah,
Like-
just say that.
I don't know. But I don't even think that's the
That
type
wasn't
of
good.
Monica
I'm
that
sorry.
he's trying to like. But I don't even think that's like when you
Not at all.
when you name your album Monica and it's a neo soul album. I'm not thinking of a white woman in the White House.
At all.
You know.
Yeah, man. There's
I don't know.
there's a lot going on with this
He
release.
he's never said he was in love or nothing. Like that's the name of that's my girl's name, and you
I
know,
don't
she
think
was
so.
none of that.
she was
Yeah.
the
He
muse.
said from this interview, the pieces that I saw, he said something. He's like, I think he said something like it's just a name that he really likes. And he also talked about how Adrian was a name that he really likes as well for men and also women. And he's like, yeah, Adrian
That's weird
Brody's
as
like
hell.
not even one of my top 4 names. I'm just like, it just feels very shallow.
or it could just be elusive, and I just don't want you to know my personal life.
It's possible.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, my girl's named Monica, and she know who she is. So
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
that was my muse when I wrote this project. So that's what I named the album. Now,
It's possible.
Do I?
I don't know about
and you could get. That's why you catching hell, because don't nobody know nothing. You just you throwing shit out there, and people like
You can't like enter a genre known for having like certain levels of depth.
And transparency.
Both from like both the linguistic and
Yeah.
vocality and the lyrics and also the music.
Yeah.
And then come at it with like the shallow representation of vocals. It's like you miss the entire point of like what you're doing almost to a certain degree. I think that's also very important too. You know, like I don't think Jack Harlow fits in this space for a couple reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is one, he's not a vocalist. He can't sing. So he would really have to figure that out. But when you think about other artists that are actually in this particular type of space, they are super talented.
Facts.
Well,
Even when you talk about like other white people that are in this space, we talk about Moonchild a little bit, right?
Oh man,
great. art
Super multi-instrumentalist, all of them. You know, Amber can sing as well. They all play instruments and they make really good music.
Facts.
You know, like Jack Harlow can't do any of this shit.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
It's just,
there's somebody that and this is not a white artist. This is a black artist that dibbles and dabbles in that, and he's youthful, and a lot of this project sounds like that to me too. Damani Harris. You know what I mean? Like, is he the greatest vocalist?
Makes better music.
No, but could I hear a project from him just like this? Yeah.
so that's a fair point too. I guess you don't have to be super duper lyrical, musical to do it, but that's kind of what I think of too. You know, when I think of back, you know, like when I think of this genre and even like the hip hop references like that are connected to it, it's just like these were a different particular type of artist that Jack Harlow just doesn't seem to fit in the mold of at all. So
Like, I wonder if like Common or I wonder if J. Cole would give us a whole project like this.
I don't want it.
I don't need that.
Yeah, Common already tried to get it. This is like
The Electric Circuit.
No, not electric. No, Electric Circus. I'm talking about.
Oh, that one with
Universal Mind Control.
With Pharrell.
I mean, look, you can say, that Common's Like Water for Chocolate is a direct descendant, or not descendant. What's the word I'm looking for? It's
Influence
to that where they were in the Soulquarians and a lot of the nail soul, if you will, type of music that was happening in that spawned out of that when you have Questlove and James Poyser and Jay Dilla as a part of a project such as that.
Facts.
So I would say that that's something that I would be much more I would like Jack Harlow to try to do something like that as opposed to try to go over here and sing. Like, go get the musicians and make something funky and, soulful. And, I think that seems to make more sense to me, but I don't know.
I just think Jack he already has the clout or the, I guess, acceptance from who he's become as an artist. And I don't think this was, I guess, that necessary unless it's just super authentic, because you are like, you good. Like, I don't need you to prove this or try, you know what I mean? It's not necessary because you already good. A lot of people like you. We've talked about, we like him. We like his records. He got dope records, but it goes back to the Mac Miller conversation. We can end it, but there's something that comes off as inauthentic. And that's the part that's going to always hang over this project. It's like you said, I think you said cosplay, like you just trying to do this just to see if it's cool or if it's going to land. There's no emotion. There's nothing about it that brings people in. It's just kind of like, I tried this. All right, cool. We'll see what happens.
And that's why it's not connected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
it feels soulless.
Yeah. Like,
which is ironic.
If you would have gave a little bit more backstory of why you did this, you know what I mean, prior to it, but you just threw it on motherfucker.
And then the interview, you're smiling, you're having a great time.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
With that Donnell Jones hat on. That's crazy, bro.